Who's there? You're early, just to make sure everything is okay. So if you're here early like me, namaste. Say hello. Make sure you can hear me okay. You can hear the singing birds. And also, if you don't want to message me, that's perfectly fine. I'm hoping everyone is feeling okay today. So we'll be starting in about, let me see, about 8 minutes. Yeah? No? And we're going to be needing you can see my setup there, since you're here early, right? A block is all we need today. But also, if you don't have a block, you can use a thick book like this. Look at this beautiful Rumi book. It's nice and sturdy. It's really a good size. It's like almost the size of the block. So go ahead and set up for your practice anything that you need. I will be here kind of, waiting on everyone to arrive, just like we do in class. Just like we do when we're at the studio. Oh, yes. Louis and Debbie are here. Awesome. Good morning. I tried to join your live yesterday, but couldn't on my phone. I think because I don't have the app. I refuse to install the app on my phone, I guess. So you can hear me okay? Oh, and Amanda is here. Mandy, good to see you. I saw you in class yesterday too. That was so nice to see you. You doing okay? And Mandy, I tried to add you to the Facebook group, but your settings didn't allow it. You have really good settings. So I had messaged you to tell you to change your settings for a second so I can add you and then you can change them back if you want. But I'm glad to see you here. So it's really, really nice to have you here. And I hope you're doing okay. And I miss you. Oh, so you guys can hear me okay, I assume, yes? I started using a microphone yesterday, but I don't think it was actually working yesterday. So we're still using the internal microphone from my laptop. But today, I think the microphone is working. So if you can hear me, type something. Oh, let me say, maybe you can't hear me. Oh, okay. Yeah, good. Thank you so much for answering. Yes, great sound. It's the microphone. It's I've been working on it for a while. So I'm using my iPhone as a microphone. So it was a lot of work, a lot of apps, a lot of setups and changing settings and all that. And also like installing a microphone app and all that good stuff. And I am thinking about, I was thinking about doing a podcast with friends before all this, but now I'm thinking about it seriously. So maybe it is time to kind of launch something. So I have all that ready for that. And hopefully I will I'll launch that. You guys can hear the birds, okay? This is not my my backyard. This is another app. So welcome everyone. I see people arriving. Take your time, set up as you like. This is really all we need today. I've been using my blanket instead of a mat for the yin practices. It kind of makes it more, cozy and, a little bit different from what we usually do in the flow classes and the yang classes. Today we're going to need a block, and if you don't have a block, just a thick book or like a hard pillow. So something like this, something hard, right? That can support your hips. This is actually really good, but this is from India. I don't know if you guys have something like it. Okay, something that you can make into like a nice sturdy pillow. Also, we're gonna need. We're not going to need, but you can use a blanket like this. You fold it, and then this I would fold again into. I would fold it and fold it and fold it, and then this becomes my sturdy pillow. You see, so whatever works for you. I think this is the sequence that I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but I think this is the sequence that Lewis liked a lot. I think so, because this is the sequence today. The sequence is for the lower back, especially the part of the lower back where a lot of injuries happen. So between the lumbar and the sacrum. Right, that space in between the two, where the lumbar ends and where the sacrum begins. In medical terms, this is referred to as L5S1, and I came to create the sequence based on my niece, who's been having a lot of. She might even be online practicing with us today, but she was having all kinds of pains and issues in that area, and no one could figure out what it is. And I was just trying to understand that, situation, and came up with a sequence, for that area. I'm not claiming and I'm not suggesting that this is something that heals, but as always in Yin Yoga and in my classes, we can, kind of approach our pain or difficulty, gently, to understand first, to witness what's going on, and then after that, you can, you be the scientist, in other words, and you use your body as the testing field, but as long as you're safe, as long as you don't hurt yourself. Oh, let me erase this. Chirp, chirp. Okay, so you hear that. I am going to turn it off in a second. Is it clear when I talk? Because I might want to keep it for the class. Yes, birds. Yes. Okay, so maybe we can keep the birds chirping and I'll be quiet more. Oh, it's time. So I don't know. I don't know that I want to take a chance with this audio. So I think instead I'm going to stop it. It's safer. All right. So let's go ahead and begin. And everybody come to your comfortable seat. Namaste, everyone. Welcome to class. My name is Octavia Nasr, and this is Yin Yoga. Yin Yoga is a very specific form of yoga that requires stillness. So if you're new to the practice, I'll use usually the first couple of poses to go over the tenets of Yin Yoga, why we practice Yin Yoga. So be patient with the pace of the class. This is not your typical yang flow where we're moving and jumping and creating heat, it's more inward. It's more a practice for the inner body more than the outer body. So come to your comfortable seat and let's take a few seconds here to settle in, to arrive on the mat, arrive for our practice. And let's take together a deep inhale through the nostrils, fill up your whole body. See if you can fill up the body all the way to the tailbone, maybe even the tips of the toes and the tips of the fingers. See if you can spread your breath throughout the body. And then open the mouth and exhale with an audible sigh. Simply let go. And let's do this 2 more times. Inhale deeply. And exhale all of it out. Maybe do this 1 more time. Inhale and exhale, and allow yourself to simply be quiet, to simply be present in your own body, in this gift, this vehicle that you inhabit, that you live in, that you spend most all of your time in. A lot of times we spend so much time in the body and we forget that we're inhabiting this body. So whether we are conscious, whether we are in the awake state of being, or in the dreaming state of being, or in the deep sleep state of being, or in the turiya, the beyond all those, it's still this body that holds us, that keeps us. And we have every reason to keep this body healthy and well. It's to our own advantage to keep ourselves healthy, safe, and well. So today's practice is going to start with an invocation. The invocation is a conversation with the mind, asking the mind to show us what is real, to focus on reality and remove out of our sight, out of our way, everything that is not real. To show us the light and remove the darkness. To show us that we are immortal and remove the fear of death from our way. And all this is symbolic, obviously. But I'll let you, throughout the practice today, work with this theme of removing obstacles, removing darknesses, removing shadows, removing pain, and allowing yourself to feel your real self. Your real self is far away from all this. Everything we consider as real is what is unreal. So allow yourself time to observe, to be present in this body, but at the same time, appreciate the fact that this body is not who we truly are. It's just a shell that's containing, that's holding the real self that's inside. So if you'd like to join me for the 3 ohms, you're welcome to do that, and then sit quietly for the invocation. If you're chanting with me, inhale for 3 ohms. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And with your next inhale, blink the eyes open, return to the space, and we're starting on our back in a bridge pose. So lie down on your back first. Keep that blanket handy. And today, as I said in the beginning, the blanket will serve as a pillow under the sacrum, under the hips. Or if you have a block handy for that. So come to your back, bend your knees, feet on the floor, about a hip width difference apart. Walk your feet as close to your hips. Hold here. We're not going anywhere yet. Only tilt your pelvis inward and up, maybe up towards the ceiling. And then arch it back as if you're crushing, as if you're massaging your sacrum against the floor, and maybe even massage it. So move your hips side to side a little bit. And then tuck the tailbone in as if you're tucking your pelvis in, as if you're sending the pelvis up to the ceiling, and then arch up the pelvis. Again, feel the sacrum on the floor and gently massage it. So we're starting to stimulate that area that we're working with. And we're going to do this several times. So tuck the tailbone in and then arch the tailbone back and up. Okay, in and out. In. A few more rounds. Maybe you won't feel that I'm moving. Maybe you won't feel that you're moving, but this is a lot of movement for the pelvis. Those of you who are in pain, if you have any lower back pain, you're feeling it, of course. Those who don't have a problem, an issue in that area, you might be feeling like, I'm not doing anything. Well, you are. So just trust the process. Allow the massaging, allow this warming up of the lowest part of your spine. Allow it to warm, allow it to get oiled. A few more rounds, tuck the tailbone in and arch it up, tuck it in and arch up. And every time you arch up, you're going to feel that back bend here. You're going to feel the lumbar spine arching up. So go ahead and massage that sacrum against the floor. And again, a few more rounds here. And very good. Now come back to neutral. And from here, we're going to come to the bridge pose. So lift the hips up, lift as high as they can go. If you need to take your arms under your back, go ahead and do that. Clasp your hands to lengthen. And from here, tuck the tailbone in and arch it up. Tuck and arch up. Tuck it in, arch it up. A few more rounds. If you need to readjust, if you need to move your hips side to side a little bit, you can. But the most important thing here is to tuck and arch up. Tuck the tailbone and arch it up. A few more rounds, just to be here for about 2 minutes or so. At any point you feel this is too much, you're welcome to simply lower back down and do the same thing here. So tuck and arch up. Okay, whatever you are, just allow yourself time to, again, warm up that part of the spine that is essential for our practice today. And then release and come back to the floor. Now, corpse pose for just about a minute. So practicing rest. Separate your legs as far as they can go. They don't have to separate a lot, not too wide, but separate them maybe as wide as the mat or as wide as you like them to be when you're resting. Separate your arms. So move your arms a few inches away from the body. Feel your whole body on the floor. Feel that the back of your head where it touches the floor. Allow the body to sink in a little bit deeper into the ground so you can feel that you're letting go of all the weight, the physical weight, psychological weight, emotional weight. We have a lot of stuff that can go. So let it go. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Next inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Point the toes. Give yourself a full body stretch here. Clasp your hands, turn the palms away, flex the feet, and another full body stretch. And then hug your knees to your chest and start rocking side to side. We're going to take our time rocking here to massage, you guessed it, the lower back in particular, but also we want to massage the thoracic spine. We want to massage the cervical spine already. So now we're sending those waves of goodness of the massage, the earth massaging your spine from the tailbone to the sacrum, to the lumbar spine, to the thoracic spine, to the cervical spine, to the back of the head, right? And from there, your nervous system is going to send all that goodness throughout the body. Very good. So now from here, roll over to one side and come up to your bear pose. So bear pose is your hands and knees pose. So here, take your time setting up for bear. You want to be on hands and knees. You want your shoulders to be over the wrists and the hips over the knees. Okay, like this. And once you're in the bear pose, your gaze is here between the two hands. Take a deep inhale, fill up the back side of your body. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone in, tuck your chin into the chest, round your back. So cat stretch here, stay here, keep the rounding in the back, keep inhaling, filling up the back side of the body. And when you exhale, round a little bit more. Inhale, fill up the back side of the body. Exhale, round a little bit more. Notice I'm not going to cow. I'm just staying here, allowing the spine again to lengthen and to release, let go of all the stuff that's blocking its way. Inhale deeply. Exhale, tuck a little bit more. Now we move to cow. On the next inhale, very, very slowly. First, melt your belly and melt your heart to the floor. Lift your hips as high as they can go. Lift your gaze up. You're lifting your chin up. Notice this arching of the back here. So hold it here. Inhale deeply. Exhale, lift the hips a little bit more. Lift the head a little bit more. So enjoy, feel that now. We're stretching the front side of the body, the front side of the spine, and the back side of the spine is compressed. Stay here, one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, lift those hips maybe a little bit more. See if you have room for that. Look up and prepare for cat. So for cat, first you want to neutralize the spine, then tuck the tailbone in, tuck the chin into the chest and round. Now cow, inhale, look up, lift the hips up, melt the heart, melt the belly, and move between the two. And notice that this is very similar to what we did in the beginning of class, except now the whole spine is involved. So take all the time you need. Feel your spine, feel your back, feel what your body is telling you here. And then from here, we're going to take Sphinx. So take the forearms to the floor. Elbows are right under your shoulders. And this is our first official Yin Yoga pose, because we're going to hold it for about 3 minutes. So now the elbows are under the shoulders. Make sure of that. Forearms are parallel to each other. Spread your fingers wide. This is a compression. You should feel the compression here in the lower back. So again, if you have issues, if you have problems in that area, any kind of problems, you're going to feel it more. And what I want you to do is make sure you don't feel pain. So I cannot stress this enough. No pain here. If you feel pain, not discomfort. Discomfort is okay, but pain is not okay. So if you feel a sharp pain, if you feel a sharp stabbing pain, or if you feel numbness, or you feel tingling, all these are signs of injury. You don't want to be here if you're feeling any of those signs. If that's the case, you just lower down to your belly and you rest here in crocodile. This is still a back bend. This is still an arching of that lower back, a compression of the lower back. It's still that, but it's mild, much smaller than this. And for those of you who are comfortable with compressing the back a little bit more, we're not compressing to hurt. Again, keep that in mind. We're compressing to bring healing. So if you feel like seal is more appropriate for you, then turn your right hand to the right and left hand to the left. Press the floor away from you, straighten your arms, and come up to seal pose. And notice if your glutes are helping, if they're squeezed, release them. If you find that when you release your glutes, you hurt, then it's okay to engage the glutes. It's okay to engage anything you need to engage to keep yourself safe. Those of you who feel that you have more than that in you and you like to compress more, take your palms by your chest, push the floor away, straighten the arms, keep a little bend in the elbows, so don't lock your arms, don't lock your elbows, and come up to cobra pose. So it's a deeper compression of the lower back. But whatever you are, it's your pose, it's your practice. Enjoy it. Those of you who practiced with me yesterday, I told you that today will be a continuation of that practice. So if you didn't practice yesterday and you like to take a look at yesterday's practice, you're welcome to find it on the stream. But today we're going specifically for that lower back area. So some of the poses we did yesterday are included in today's sequence on purpose. Take a deep inhale through the nostrils and exhale. And one more, inhale and exhale. And release. We're not going to release into the crocodile. Instead, we're going to release into puppy pose. So come back to hands and knees, come back to the bear. Move your bear side to side, up and down in any direction that appeals to you. Then from tabletop, from bear, move your hands forward like this until the arms are straight, but notice your hips are still over the knees. And then from here, lower your belly, glue your belly to the thighs, and drop your heart to the floor, maybe your forehead to the floor. So again, here we're going to be for about 3 minutes as well. So puppy pose, you have your hips flying in space. The hips are trying to reach the ceiling. You're going to feel, some of you are going to feel a shift here, especially in the lower back, right? That's what we're working with. So Yin Yoga, if you're new to the practice, is the yoga of the joints and the fascia, the connective tissue, and the glands. It's the yoga of the inside body, of the energetic body, the subtle body. This is a perfect example of using your body as a tool, using your body as a prop, like we're using a block or a blanket. At any point you feel uncomfortable, you feel unsafe, you just come out. You return to bear pose. You lower down to your belly. So don't feel like you have to be in any pose that doesn't feel safe to you. If you like to take a cheek to the blanket or the floor or the mat, do that. One cheek and the other. So Yin Yoga is the yoga of the inside body. In Yin Yoga, we don't pay much attention to what we look like, to the aesthetics. And we pay a lot of attention to how we feel. In Yin Yoga, we come to a place of sensation. We're seeking a sensation. And it's important to feel something and make sure you don't feel something else, such as pain. We don't want to feel that, but we want to feel that compression or that stretch or that tension that we're seeking. So we place the body in a position, in a posture, in an asana on purpose to have a certain sensation. And once we find what is appropriate for us, the sensation that is appropriate for us, then we release all effort. So we come to a place that is uncomfortable, not painful, but uncomfortable. And we release all tension, we release all effort, we release the muscles, and we wait. Today's wait is about 3 minutes, a little bit more, but say 3 to 4 minutes. And this is what's going to bring the change, the shifts, and the wider range of motion. Take a deep inhale through the nostrils and exhale. And one more deep inhale and exhale. And release. So we're going to release onto our belly. Make a pillow with the hands or the forearms and let your head rest there. Separate your feet. So this is the same as corpse, except you're on your belly. Separate the feet, separate the legs as wide as you like. Let your head rest here on the hands or the forearms. If you need to rock the hips side to side a little bit, do that. And simply be. So this pose is called a rebound pose because in it, we rebound, we heal. We allow the body time to heal from all the doing. A lot of this doing is happening at the deepest level of our body that on the surface, we don't even know what's going on. We don't even feel what happened. So just allow yourself here time to be. This is your opportunity to leave the body alone, to step out of your own way, in other words. In yesterday's practice, we worked with the chakras, with the energetic centers along the spine, the major chakras. And today we're working mainly with the first three. So they're very physical, the first three chakras. And we hold in them a lot of tension that stems from a long time ago. A lot of stuff that doesn't even belong to us, and yet it's there, weighing us down. So I want you to start thinking about all the stuff you need to let go from that area that is causing you pain, physical pain. Take a deep inhale through the nostrils and exhale. And one more, inhale and exhale. Stretch your arms forward, point the toes, give yourself a full body stretch. And then come back up to tabletop, to bear pose. And first in bear, I want you to move in any direction that appeals to you now. So now you're going to notice that your spine is a lot more flexible, a lot more open. Yes, for some of you, there's going to be pain because there is something happening in that area that we cannot control. So you want to be gentle with that pain. You want to be gentle with yourself. Do not make it worse. Instead, nurse it. Be loving and kind to it. Our next pose is the dragon pose. So I'm going to turn around this way so you can see the this side of it. So from tabletop, I want you to step your right foot to the outside of your right hand like this. Okay? And then from here, you want to have your blanket handy or your block. Place it here in front of you. And then from here, I want you to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and slide your left foot back a little bit more. Bring the back knee back to the floor. For some of you, this is extremely tough on that left groin. So you might want to stay closer to here. It's totally up to you how far you're going to take the stretch. Okay? So from here, bring the blankets and put them here on the inside of your right foot. And either have your hands on the blanket or, of course, if you're using a block, the block. You bring my timer. And those of you who want, you can take your forearms down to the floor like this. This is pretty deep stretch here. The groin, the hip flexors. You know, you have a lot happening here. There's a lot of release that will happen around the hip flexors, around the attachments of your femur, your thigh bone to the hips. The hip sockets are going to tell you how deep they are. You might come to a point where you feel, I can't go beyond this point, and you would be right about that. It could be that your femur, the head of the femur, where it sits inside the hip socket, is hitting a bone, and there's no movement beyond this. If a bone hits a bone, there's nothing we can do about it. So don't beat yourself up if you can't go deeper. For some of you, you're going to be right here, and that's enough. So we're preparing for a twist anyway. So for now, I want you to allow the body to come to yin. So come to that place of sensation, release all muscles, and stay here. So you can let your head rest on your hands like this. For some of you, you might be on the floor all the way down to the floor. That's possible. You do whatever your body needs to do. But for the last minute of this pose, we're going to twist in this dragon pose. So for now, those of you who can, roll over to the outer edge of the right foot, allowing the right knee to move to the So it's hard to tell. I'm hoping that we didn't lose the audio as a result of this call. You can tell me if we lost audio, and I'll set it back up real quick. Oh, it's back. Okay, good. So I didn't say anything during this time because I saw that I lost the microphone there with that call that came in. All right, so now we're going to twist everybody. So lift your torso up. Take your right hand to the right knee like this. And then slowly twist your whole body to the right and turn your gaze back and look at your left foot. So those of you who can, and what I was saying before the call came in, is that you can roll over the outer edge of your right foot to start preparing for your twist. For now, you should be looking back at your left toes And this is pretty deep. We're stretching the groin muscles. We're stretching the hip flexors. That's a lot happening here. There's a lot of compression. There's a lot of stretching going on. Take a deep inhale here and exhale. And one more deep inhale and exhale. And very, very slowly start coming out of this pose. And then return to bear pose. And just notice how different your right side feels in comparison to your left. Very good. And now we do the other side. So from here, I'm going to stay facing this way so you can see me from the other side now. I'm just going to move my blanket to this side. I'm going to change the timing here. So from here, you're going to step your left foot forward. And when you step the left foot forward, you want the foot on the outside of your left palm, like this, right? And again, we'll do the same thing we did on the other side. Those of you who want, you can tuck the back toes, slide, lift the back knee and slide that foot back. That will give you a deeper stretch in the groin area. You might, if you're here and you're thinking, you know, this looks good, that's fine. You can be here too. The most important thing is to ask yourself, am I feeling something? Am I feeling something in the groin muscles? That's the adductors. That's your inner thigh muscles. It's not just the groin area. You want to feel the stretch throughout. And wherever you find yourself comfortable, you know, not in pain, not threatened, not unsafe, that's where you want to be. And then if you want to lower down a little bit more, do that. So you bring your elbows, you bring the forearms to the floor. And if you want to, this is what I was saying earlier, you roll over the out edge of the left foot like this. And you let that left knee open to the left a little bit more. So all this is a function of this joint here, the hip joint, the hip socket, and how the femur sits in this hip socket. So how far this goes is not a function of how much you work out, how good of a yogi you are. It's a function of how you're built, muscles and bones. And we're going to stay here for a little while. And like we did on the other side, the last minute of the practice will be the twist. But those of you who feel you want to go to the twist early, you're welcome to do that. See, the difference between being in studio is that I can see you, so I can respond to what I'm seeing. Now I have to trust you only. I can't see you, so I'm trusting you with your body even more so than when we are in studio together. So you want to feel, you want to savor. Now let's prepare for the twist. So you want to lift the torso up. You want to keep your right hand on the block or the floor. Take your left hand to the left knee. You saw it on the other side. You saw the back of it on the other side. This is what it looks like from this side. So you want to roll over the outer edge of the foot. You want to push that knee out. Don't push it too hard. Don't hurt yourself. And you want to twist your whole torso to the left. And you turn your gaze and you try to see your left shoulder. Maybe you see all your back toes. And you stay here. You allow that shift. You allow all that tension that we are creating. That's how Yin works. We are applying a gentle but consistent pressure on the joints to bring in the change. That's why being gentle, being compassionate with your body is so important, is essential. Because we can hurt ourselves in these poses that look innocent on the surface. And take a deep inhale and exhale all of it. One more. Deep inhale and exhale and Come out of the pose. Return to bear, hands and knees. Maybe move in your bear in any direction that appeals to you, and just notice, everybody, notice how your spine feels now, especially that lower back. Notice how what you just did is so important. You gave your body a gift. And maybe your body will reward you by being pain-free or by responding to your gift and starting to heal. And for those of you who have no issues, this is the maintenance. This is the maintenance that you cannot afford not to be doing. All right, let's take a rest so you can lie down on your back. Corpse pose. Legs apart, arms apart. Allow yourself time to simply be in corpse. Allow that rebound to happen. Allow the healing to take place. And take a deep inhale through the nostrils and exhale. And one more deep inhale and exhale. With the next inhale, stretch your arms overhead, point the toes, give yourself a full body stretch, lengthen that body, heal the body, realign the body. Exhale, hug your knees to your chest and rock side to side. Squeeze those knees as close as possible to your chest. Rock side to side, massaging your back, massaging your internal organs. You're massaging a lot here. And then roll over to your side, any one side, and then come back to hands and knees, bear pose. And we'll take child's pose now. So this is going to be a brief child's pose, but I want you to feel how we're going to round the back now. So this child's pose is a little bit different than the usual Yin Yoga child's pose. I want you to keep your knees together. They don't have to be like touching. It can be like this, about a hip width difference apart. So you're sitting on your heels to start with. This is what it would look like from the back. So start here. And from here, the reason why I want you to keep the feet together, in Yin, usually you would have the big toes together and the knees apart, and you come to child's pose like this. So today I'm inviting you to do this, and you're going to see why. So from here, you're going to lower down like this, place your forehead on the floor, and let your arms settle by your side, palms facing up. Look at my back, if you want, for just a second before you assume the pose. Notice that lengthening. Notice that rounding of the back. I'm using my thighs now to let the torso rest on the thighs, and the thighs are now my prop. So they're giving me that rounding in the spine. If you can't, if your forehead doesn't reach the floor, no problem. Just place a blanket here or a block. Maybe your fists, stack them. There are so many different ways. Even if you're here, this is good enough. Okay, tuck your chin in though. We're going to be in this child pose for about a minute more. Keep breathing. Fill up the backside of the body when you breathe in. Exhale it all out. And when you exhale, see if you can melt a little bit more over the floor, over your thighs, over your blanket, over whatever it is that you have in front of you and under you. Inhale deeply, fill up, and exhale, melt a little bit more. Inhale, fill up, and exhale, melt a little bit more, about 30 more seconds here. Enjoy. And before we come out of this pose, I want you to feel the total surrender in child's pose. So next exhale, surrender a little bit more. Arms by your side, palms facing up. And release this pose. And now when you release, we're gonna come to the back. Now the climax, now the actual peak of our practice. So this is what we've been preparing for, right? Since the first movement that we did. So you're gonna come back to your back. You're gonna take either the blanket. I'm gonna use the blanket today for myself. So I just any blanket that you have around the house, fold it in such a way that you have, like a nice seat to place under your hips. And lift your hips and slide this blanket. And you want to make sure you place the blanket under the sacrum, because that's the area we're working with here in this pose. And this is supported bridge pose. So place the blanket under your hips. Or if you have a block, you're placing the block under your hips. And start here. Feet about a mat width difference or a little wider than your hips. Let the knees rest against each other. Arms by your side. Allow the hips to settle in. That's what we're doing now. We're letting the hips settle in. This pose is going to change. We're going to be doing a lot more with it. We're starting here and then we're going to shift and change, but the hips are going to stay on this. So it's important that the hips feel totally supported. Let's do a little test. Stretch your legs up towards the ceiling. Point the toes and flex the feet. Point and flex. Point and flex. That's point, flex, point, flex. And then if you're wobbly, then you're not where you need to be. Then you need to place the feet on the floor, lift the hips, readjust your blanket, and test again. If you can hold your legs up like this for a while, then your sacrum is sitting comfortably on top of these blocks or blankets or whatever it is that you're using. So back to here. The feet are about a little wider than your hips. And now start walking your feet forward towards the front of the edge of your mat or blanket until the heels are only on the floor and the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. So this is a back bend already. You should feel it as a back bend. The hips are high, the head is low, and the shoulders are on the floor. And you should feel the back bend. You can even place your hands under your back just to feel how your back is arched up. Now from here, you can try to stretch your arms up towards the ceiling. And you're going to notice with every movement, there's going to be shift happening somewhere along the spine, along your joints. You can stay here. Those of you who like, you can clasp your hands and place them under your head like this, with the elbows apart. And again, allow the hips time to settle in. All these are invitations for the hips to release their tension, the pelvis to release its tension, and the lower back to release its tension. So from this point on, the practice becomes more meditative. Because by you simply holding the poses, simply practicing with me, doing the things I'm asking you to do, from focusing on your edge, to releasing all your muscles, to being safe, to appreciating the fact that you have a body, to treating the body with the respect it deserves, taking care of the body, appreciating all these movements that the body needs, but the body doesn't get during your day. By simply doing that, you've already done a lot. You've already given the body a lot. So now from here, start walking your feet back towards your hips, towards your blanket or block. And when you get close, take the soles of the feet together and the knees apart. So the feet are resting, they're pressing against each other. Again, you should feel all this in your lower back. You should feel this in your groin muscles from here to here, not just here. So you should feel a compression in your hip joint. You should feel a stretch in your groin muscles. The arms can remain where they are. This is reclined butterfly. If you feel that anything is not right, you just modify, you adjust. You certainly don't want to be in pain. You certainly don't want to be unsafe. But if you think of your body, if you think of your skeleton and how everything is connected to everything else, we're connected by bones, by tendons, muscles. We're also connected by fascia, connective tissue. That's why it's called the connective tissue. So we have a lot when we think about, can I open? It's several things at once. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And one more inhale and exhale. Bring the knees together. Now, again, separate your feet, maybe a little wider than the hips now, and let the knees rest against each other. Rebound here. And feel all that release. And at any point, again, you feel unsafe, you feel this is not working, you just remove this blanket, come back to the floor, release the pose. And now from here, bring the knees to the chest first. Realign your hips on top of your blanket or on top of your block and stretch your legs up towards the ceiling. If you want to point the toes and flex the feet, point and flex, you can. You can also separate your legs and rotate the ankles in one direction and the opposite direction. And then come back here. You can, if you're having a hard time keeping the legs up, you can take your hands and support your thighs like this. If you have a scarf or a belt, you can use that to hold the legs in place. This takes practice to keep the legs up like this and kind of forget them. Let them be. Remove this just so you can see my feet. We're going to stay here. This is called waterfall. And this is an inversion. So you're now upside down. Those of you who want, you can take your hands behind your thighs and start pulling the thighs towards your belly. And every time you do that, you do any of the movements that will follow, you want to feel the stretch in the lower back. That's what we're doing. This is where the movement is happening. It's not about bringing the toes to the floor behind you. That's not the intention. The intention is to feel the stretch here in the lower back. So if you remember how you felt in that child's pose when your torso was resting on the thighs, this is what you're going to feel here too. So walk your hands up your legs, pull the legs towards your belly, your chest. Walk your hands up to the maybe heels or the outer edges of the feet, maybe to the balls of the feet, maybe to the toes. And allow your hips to lift. If the hips want to lift, let them. See? That's fine. You don't have to make an effort to do that. We're not trying to make an effort to do that. But if the hips lift, then you'll end up in the snake pose. Those of you who want to rock the snake, you're welcome to rock the snake. I'm going to try not to go to snake because then I won't be able to talk. But this is good enough. I'm feeling the stretch in the lower back. I'm feeling that letting go that's happening. There is a letting go, a separation, a detachment that's happening that is gentle and soft and healthy. But not only at the physical level, there is a detachment happening inside of me as I practice, inside of you as you practice. You're letting go of the pain. You're letting go of the attachment to pain. You're also freeing your mind of all that stuff that the mind doesn't need. Take a deep inhale through the nostrils and exhale. And one more deep inhale and exhale. And release this pose. So you want to release by bringing your knees to your chest and squeezing those knees, and maybe lift your head, take your forehead towards the knees, and then place your feet on the floor. Remove the blanket or the block from underneath you or the book. Let the hips rest on the floor first. Separate your feet, knees together. Hold here. And now keep your knees together, keep the feet apart, and drop both knees to the left. You're going to feel the stretches now. They're going to shift from, for example, in this case, your right hip flexor is stretched, your right quads, and then lift the knees back to center, drop the knees to the right. Now it's the turn of the left hip flexors, left quads. And then move side to side. A few more rounds just to release all that tension remaining, all those attachments. You're loosening them up, giving yourself a wider range of motion. Notice that in this case here, we're also releasing a lot of the tension from the pelvis. This is a pelvic twist. And notice that the feet are apart, but the knees are together. And now we're going to come back to center, take the feet together and the knees together, and drop the knees to one side and then the other side. And just notice where the release is happening now. Now the release moved up to the lumbar, the high lumbar. So now we're releasing the lower back, but higher than where we were working, higher than the coccyx and the sacrum. Now we're at the lumbar and high lumbar. Very good. I'm feeling the shifts. I hope you're feeling them too. Come back to center, hug the knees to the chest, and now rock your whole body. Remember how we did this earlier? And we massaged the entire spine. So now you should feel the massage. You should feel the release still in the coccyx and the sacrum and the lumbar. But additionally, you're going to feel it in the thoracic spine and the cervical spine. And now we're going to stretch the arms out in a T. When we drop the knees to the right, turn your gaze to the left. And then when you drop your knees to the left, turn your gaze to the right. We're going to do this a few more rounds. Turn to one side, turn to the other side. And we're going to hold it for about a minute on each side. Knees to the right, hold the knees there. If you need your right hand to press on those knees to keep them stable, you can. Turn your gaze to the left. Hold here. In Yin Yoga, timing is very important. We want to try to do the same exact amount of time on each side, unless, of course, we're dealing with a situation which one-on-one we can do. But in a class like this, it's hard to really do. So you have to be your own advocate and you have to keep yourself safe. But for me, it's important to do the same amount on both sides. So take a deep inhale, fill up the left side of the body, and exhale all of it out. One more deep inhale and exhale. When you're ready, release the side and then drop your knees to the left, stretch your arms out in a T, and turn your gaze to the right. Now we are spreading that goodness. We are spreading that love throughout the body. We're using the spine to bring in healing, not just to the spine, but to the entire body. We're balancing our energetic centers. We're helping the body breathe. We're helping the body stay healthy and well. Take a deep inhale through the nostrils and exhale. And one more deep inhale and exhale. And release. Come back to center. Stir up pose, happy baby. Reach with your hands to the outer edges of the feet. Hold here, maybe rock here. Your knees are bent. The knees are spread apart. The feet are spread. The soles of the feet are facing the ceiling. Rock, rock, rock. Our final pose. If there's anything you need here, go ahead and give it to yourself as a gift. Otherwise, release for Shavasana. So come to your Shavasana, lie down on your back. Spread your legs. Spread your arms. Feel the weight of your body. Release all tension remaining. Be aware of your body. Be aware of your breath. And you can stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like. I will close our practice with a chant that we started with. It's the Shanti mantra, the peace mantra. Asking the mind to show you what is real, to take you from what is unreal to what is real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Everything here is symbolic. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om